Now let's talk about the legacy FX market first. 7 trillion a day is total market, or that's what you guys do? Like how big?
I wish I did 7 trillion.
Okay, I was going to say, all right, so that's the whole market a day.
It's $7 trillion a day. So look, the way I look at foreign exchange, and you've got a view on this, so like imagine that could be crypto. If you imagine, as you said to me yesterday, that fiat currency won't be around in 20 years, well, it's all going to be replaced by crypto. So that's just global trade. Right? So people making things in Thailand and selling them in Home Depot in the US, right? So you got Thai baht trade or Korean won trade versus US dollar. So that can be replaced by crypto. $7 trillion a day, $2 trillion is spot. So I need dollars for my Thai baht today. And then there's people going, well, hold on a second. The next tranche of the market, $2 trillion would be the swap market. So hey, I'm long Thai baht today. I don't need to deliver it today, but I want to earn some interest in it overnight. So I swap that out, either overnight or on a weekly basis or a monthly basis. All the stuff also you're seeing in crypto. Guess what? That's kind of, the lending market, all the things that the SEC are looking at right now. And then you've got the forward market. Like I know I need, so that'd be another $1 trillion. I know I need X amount of Thai baht to pay for my shovels that I'm going to sell in Home Depot in a month's time. And then you have a non-deliverable market, which is kind of, I want access to Korea, to India, to Indonesia, to Brazilian real, but I can't have an onshore bank account. So I just invest in the economic interest effectively of that. So that is the FX market. That's what we do. In terms of LMAX, we operate 6 exchanges. We trade about $30 billion every day. Jesus. So yeah, it's big, but compared to the whole market, there's a lot more to win.
Yeah. Opportunity.
That's it. And I said to you, we did last year, we averaged of that 30 billion, we did 1.5 billion a day in crypto. So if I follow your thesis,
that'll get bigger and bigger over time.
There we go.
Yeah. So when it gets to 3, it'll be 10% of your daily volume will come from crypto. Explain to me the infrastructure differences in an institutional exchange versus a retail exchange. There's a lot of people who watch this who, I won't name names, they go to all the retail exchanges. It's a good enough experience for the most part. There's liquidity. They're able to buy and sell the assets they want. Sometimes there's a little bit of high fees. Sometimes there's downtime, whatever. But like from a retail perspective, it gets the job done. But they're also not buying and selling $20 million worth of Bitcoin. I don't want to speak for the audience. They're very, very wealthy, obviously. But
getting wealthier by the minute.
Yeah. That's not what they're really doing, right? It might be kind of hundreds of dollars, thousands, tens of thousands of dollars. And so institutions obviously have different needs. Like how do you think about the difference in the infrastructure from a retail exchange?
So it's almost, I sort of see it horizontal versus vertical. So look, I have empathy with those retail providers, right? It's a bit like after the Super Bowl ad. Everyone, what do you say? This was a great ad and so many people clicked on it, or you say, hey, they were down for a minute. So if you think about it, in retail, they've got to go horizontally. They've got to accommodate for, say, 1 million users online at any one time, asking a lot of different questions. So they'll be saying, what is the price of Bitcoin? What is the price of Ethereum? Can I see my statement? Can you show me a chart? Hey, is there a news feed from the Pomp? All of these questions, I need to be able to service that. So low latency or speed is not the key prerequisite. Now, in institutional trading, there's 3 things that matter. Does it work? Is it fast? Is it cool? Guess what? We never get to the 3rd bit. We never get to the cool bit, which is probably where retail is, right? So how do you compete? How does one platform compete with another in retail land? Well, I should be a bit cooler or offer something a bit better. So what that manifests itself in is I can't have a down second. I can't have a down millisecond. So LMAX Digital has been around 4 years. We haven't had one down millisecond on the exchange.
Ever? Since creation?
Never.
Wow.
And it's on my webpage, by the way. You can go to web status page. It's just, we don't go down, right? Because we can't go down. Because this was born out of an FX exchange. So the biggest banks in the world, so we've got 35 banks connected, all the largest proprietary trading firms in the world connected, and they want to trade in response times that are now measured in microseconds, right? So response times roughly around 70 microseconds, less than a millisecond. What's a millisecond, everyone? It's the blink of an eye. Okay, so
Jesus.
They want to know that response. They want to send their order in, have it acknowledged, and have their trade acknowledged within microseconds. Now, if I'm down for a few micros or a few millis, they just go somewhere else and they don't come back. So very simply, that's how we architect our exchange, and that's the vertical thing. I answer a few number of questions a lot in any 1 second. So I process sort of non-farm payroll on a 1:30 on the first Friday of the month. I probably process 100,000 orders per second, and I've got to do that sustained for 5 minutes. And if I'm
so
not,
100,000 orders per second for 5 straight minutes as people are trading off of data that just came out around the non-farm payroll.
Yeah. So that's probably the key difference. If you think about it, what am I offering? I'm really saying, hey, do you want to buy or do you want to sell? And what's the price now? Not just now, now. What's the price really now? And has it changed really now? And by the way, you must confirm to me within a microsecond that my trade is done. Because the biggest risk, and you know the terminology, the biggest risk is an out trade. And you'll see that even on the retail platforms, like, hold on a minute, I was trying to buy or I was trying to sell. Am I done or not? Your biggest risk is you're sitting there going, hold on a second, am I long 10 or am I short 10? Where am I? And invariably, if you don't know, that price move is going to be against you. So it's just a different architecture. And I think trying to put the two together that some of the retail guys are doing is tough because it's just a different layout. It's just a different structure. You've got to architect it right from the beginning. You can't suddenly go to a retail platform, hey guys, can you just do what Almax does and process 7 billion orders a day, right? And make sure I've got latency measured in microseconds. You can't do it. You've got to get it right in the first place.
So when you think about 100,000 orders per second for 5 minutes, how many could you guys handle? Like, could you handle 250,000, 500,000?
Sure.
Like how many is like the maximum amount that you could?
You know what? You need to come and work at Elmax because my CTO, I ask him that question every month. So if we see the biggest, I think the last one we saw, the biggest spike was about 140,000 orders.
Wow, in a second.
Yeah.
What was it for?
So non-farm. So he tells me, hey, look at that. That's really good. That was our peak. And I went, okay, well then you can imagine this market's going to expand. So you better build it for 500,000. So we're always adding, and it's back to that. Does it work? Is it fast? Because they're not going to thank me. Institutions are not going to thank me if I suddenly go, hey guys, I did double the orders, but I also doubled or tripled the length of time your response time. So, when it comes to crypto, and we're fortunate, I'd like to say we were prescient, but we entered crypto, started building it out 2017, launched it in 2018, and I just lifted an FX exchange. Because guess what? Bitcoin dollar, Ethereum dollar trades a bit like Euro dollar and a bit like cable.
And much less of them.
Correct. And I was like, I said, well, let's just move that infrastructure over to Bitcoin. So when we have all these spikes, and you've seen the liquidations in Asia, you've seen what happens on the retail platforms, I swear everyone calls me. So investors call me, clients call me, family call me. How did you cope yesterday? I'm like, it was a blip. It wasn't even a blip for us. I mean, the last time when you probably read that, all the retail exchanges were down, my order rate was about 10,000 a second for Bitcoin. But remember, it's the same architecture, right? It's the same hardware as I have on my FX exchanges that can accommodate 10x. So I say right now, we could execute every order in the crypto market today, bar none.
With the current
every single order.
Every single order. Pipe it in now, it's done. And if anyone disagrees with that, put them in touch, right?